I ruined Christmas with a sentence I didn't even say on purpose. It started with a hug. Our daughter, Zara, ran across the living room in her reindeer socks and latch-hooked herself around Malik's legs like she remembered a softer version of me attached to him. "Daddy," she squealed, and the whole room hesitated, like the house held its breath. Malik laughed, a reflex he's always had when he's uncomfortable, and looked over her head at me for instruction. I stood there with a cheese knife in my hand, suddenly buttersoft in my spine. Before I could form the right words, my husband, Aaron, came in from the kitchen carrying a tray of hot cocoa, the steam rising like the last excuse I had. He set the tray down, swallowed, and said gently, "Z, I'm Aaron. I'm your stepdad, remember? Malik is Mommy's old friend." Zara looked at me, confused, searching for the script I should have written months ago. And I, being me, being proud, being tired, said the worst line I've ever said in my house, in front of my child, my husband, and my ex. Well, at least someone shows her affection. If I could say it back to myself, I'd staple my mouth shut. I meant it like a jab at Aaron because I'd been hoarding tiny resentments all year. Missed bedtimes, his rigid rules about schedule, his habit of asking for a hug instead of immediately scooping her up when he got home from late shifts. I twisted his gentleness into distance. I made Malik's easy warmth look like proof that Aaron was failing. Everyone heard it. Even the nutcracker on the mantel heard it. Malik slowly put Zara down and backed toward the foyer like he'd stepped on a wrong stage. Aaron didn't raise his voice. He just said, "We need to talk in the office," and carried the tray down the hall, leaving a cocoa ring on the coaster like a period at the end of a sentence I couldn't unsay. I followed, heart banging, rehearsing defenses that were going to sound like ornaments. Pretty, fragile, useless. He closed the office door, quietly, somehow the worst way, and leaned on the edge of the desk he built, the one with the dovetailed joints he'd YouTubed his way through last spring. "Don't say you were joking," he said. "Don't say it was nothing." I pressed the heels of my hands into my eyes until stars came. "She called him Dad," I said. What was I supposed to do? Make it weirder? "You always act like I'm overbearing when I want more affection in the house." He nodded once, like a medic confirming the pulse he already knew. "Zara is 5, he said evenly. "She's allowed to mislabel things when she's excited. That's why we correct gently. What we don't do is take a knife to the person raising her and call it love." I swallowed. "I didn't mean." "You did," he said, not cruel, simply precise. "You meant that in your bones because we've been playing this game since October. You invite Malik too close, and then you punish me for not being Malik." I wanted to snap that Malik is her biological father and therefore close is a right, not an invitation. But we both knew I'd blurred lines. I'd started inviting Malik to stop by for drop-offs and then letting him stay for just one cookie, then for one game of Candyland, then for an hour. I told myself it was for Zara. I didn't admit I also liked how easy it made me feel, how I didn't have to translate our daughter's moods for him. He just got her. The way history lets you skip steps. "This is on me," Aaron said, "for not setting a tighter boundary earlier. I wanted you to see me as flexible. I wanted to be liked. But I'm not going to have the word affection used as a weapon against me in front of her." He took a breath. "I'm going to finish Christmas for Zara. After presents, I'm packing a bag. I'll go to my brother's for a week. In January, we'll sit down with an actual counselor and either set rules we respect or..." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. I hated him for being so calm. I hated him for not yelling, because yelling would have given me something to push back against. Instead, he gave me the shape of my choices. In the living room, Malik was kneeling by Zara, helping her peel tape from a gift like patience was a talent show. My mother looked at me with that complicated mother look, half warning, half prayer. I pasted on a smile wide enough to cover a grave and said, "Zara, baby, let's thank Uncle Malik for the dollhouse, and then we're going to open the big present from Mommy and..." The word daddy lodged in my throat like a stone. "And Aaron." Zara beamed up at both men, oblivious. Because of course she was. "She is 5. She just wants to understand who loves her and whether the pink dress will twirl. We made it through presence on performance autopilot. I handed out cinnamon rolls and apologized with my eyes at Aaron until he stopped meeting them. Malik left quickly, murmuring, "We'll talk in the new year about a better plan," and I nodded too fast. When the door closed, the house felt like it exhaled and hated the air. After Zara crashed for her nap in a sea of wrapping paper, I found Aaron on the back porch, staring at the thin winter sun, hands in his hoodie pocket like he was keeping himself from holding something. "I'm sorry," I said, the inadequate kind, the kind that plugs a leak with a sticker. He nodded. "I believe you're sorry. I also believe you meant it in the moment, and that matters more." He rubbed his thumb along a nick in the porch rail. "I am affectionate with her in the ways I know how to be, without confusing her. I ask for hugs because consent is a thing I want to teach. I don't scoop without asking because her body is her body. If that reads cold to you, fine. But what I won't be is measured against a man who drops in like a holiday movie and leaves before bedtime." An argument formed about how I do bedtime most nights while Aaron works late every other week, how I'm the one who knows which stuffed animal actually matters, how I'm the one who wiped the kindergarten snot with my shirt sleeve. I wanted credit. He wanted a partner, not a rival witness. Those are different religions. He went upstairs, packed a duffel, and came down with his keys. He kissed Zara's head while she slept and left the note he always leaves when he works overnight: "Call if you need anything." Then he put it in my hand and said, "Tomorrow, text me 3 times that work for counseling. I'll book it. I won't fight you in front of her. I won't stay if this stays like this." He walked out without slamming the door. He wins that way, by not making noise where truth is enough. I stood in the kitchen and tried to be furious, but the only thing big enough to hold was the shape of my own sentence. I called my sister, who doesn't coddle. She said, "You introduced your ex like a guest star in a sitcom and expected your husband to clap. He doesn't perform, Maya. He builds." She paused. "What do you actually want?" "I want Zara to feel loved," I said. Automatic. "Then stop making love a contest," she shot back. "Set rules. Follow them. That's love when you have a family." In January, Aaron booked a counselor named Patrice who had the uncanny ability to listen to both of us and say only exactly what needed saying. "What is Malik's role?" she asked me. "Not emotionally. Legally and practically. He has every other Saturday," I said, cheeks hot. "And Wednesdays for dinner if his schedule allows." I'd insisted on those terms when we filed our parenting plan. I wanted predictability. Then I started acting like flexibility was a virtue because it got me the version of Malik I liked. "And is he welcome on Christmas morning?" Patrice asked. I opened my mouth to say yes because isn't that kind, isn't that modern, isn't that enlightened, and then stopped. "He can do Christmas Eve," I said, slowly like I was building a bridge. "We'll alternate. He can come by the week before to drop gifts. Christmas morning is our home. How will Zara address each of you?" Patrice asked. I felt 6 inches tall that a professional had to ask me this. "She can call Malik Daddy," I said. "He is." "She can call Aaron Aaron or Bear like she sometimes does. We're not going to force labels in either direction." I looked at Aaron. "But we will correct her. Gently. When she confuses who is who in the moment, and we will not let confusion be used as a weapon in an argument between adults." Aaron nodded. "And physical affection?" Patrice said. He looked at me. "I will keep asking first," he said. "I will also offer more. I can sit on the floor when I get home even if I'm wrecked, and let her climb on me, and not make it a teachable moment every time." His mouth twitched. "But I'm not going to perform affection to make you comfortable in front of your ex." We drew up a family plan. It felt ridiculous to write down things like no drop-ins, neutral pickups at the park when emotions want to pretend they're above logistics. Logistics saved us. When Malik texted, "Around your neighborhood with gifts," I replied with the pickup spot and time. When he asked, "Can I pop in to see the dollhouse?" I replied, "Not today. We'll FaceTime after lunch." He didn't like the stiffness. He liked not being the villain. He adapted. I called Malik and apologized for the way I let the boundaries blur. He surprised me by saying, I should have asked, not assumed. I liked feeling like I still fit. But that wasn't my place. I'll stick to the plan. At home, I apologized to Aaron without the word but. I also stopped using affection as a yardstick. When he got home late and washed his hands 3 times because the day had been awful, I didn't say, she needed you earlier. I said, she's in the bath. Come sit on the tile with me.
He did.
He kissed my forehead, then asked Zara for a hug and she said yes, and he lifted her, and I watched both of them remember we were building something that needed more than warmth. It needed beams. In February, we had one bad night where Zara cried for Malik during story time, and I felt my throat close. I almost snapped at Aaron, see, and I saw myself about to recruit a 5-year-old into a grown-up election. I shut my mouth. We FaceTimed Malik for 5 minutes. Then we finished the book. Aaron switched to silly voices halfway through without me prompting. Zara laughed her hiccup laugh and fell asleep with her hand on his sleeve. He wins not because he left, but because he was willing to. Quietly, cleanly. If I kept confusing love with popularity. He wins because he asked for counseling, not a fight. He wins because he made affection a practice, not a performance. He wins because he protected Zara from my worst sentence with a better plan. Next Christmas, Malik will do Christmas Eve, and Christmas morning will be a little less flashy and a lot more stable. There will be a cocoa ring on a coaster again. There will be a present that requires batteries we forgot to buy. There will be a 5-year-old who knows who is who and who loves her, and 2 adults who learned that love looks like a calendar sometimes. I wish the lesson had arrived with a bow. It came with a duffel bag and a boundary. That's better anyway. Bows come off. Boundaries hold. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. She let her ex slide into Christmas morning and weaponized affection against a steady stepdad. He didn't scream. He finished the day for the child, packed a bag, and set counseling and boundaries. No drop-ins, clear holiday plan, gentle corrections for names. Lesson: in blended families, love without structure is chaos. Structure lets love breathe. If you like this video, please subscribe for more. Thanks, and see y'all tomorrow.